and welcome to the Scratchicus Academy. Today, or now, we are about to play some Dynama, well, the Weave system, and I've been looking forward to this all week. So I'm going to run through a few bits and bobs before we hand over to our lovely Renee. Discord. We have an awesome Discord full of awesome people. You should definitely head over there and come and say hi and chat. And we have a chat room effectively for each campaign where you can discuss what's going on and scream into the abyss. YouTube. If you haven't seen the ones coming up to this, definitely go check out our YouTube where you can find the Dynama playlist. And also, if you want to be in one of these games, drop Scrat a DM on Twitter. We have 5 viewer games this season, including D&D, Ryutama, Cypher System, you name it. The only thing is Monster of the Week is completely full until the end of the season. We are full-time now, and that's thanks to you lovely people. So please, if you would like to support us, go check out our Patreon. You can find on there also some free articles to read written by our very lovely Renee. We also have merch, and you can find that via Redbubble. As Scrat says, what does he say? Put that crest on your chest. I can't remember. I heard him say it the other day. Also, we have some really awesome sponsors. The first one in the form of Bird in the Storm, who is our very own tool school and the lovely Bird versus Plane. They write modules and do lots of D&D and other TTRPG stuff. And you can find their merch in the links in chat. We also have the lovely sponsor of Maychan Press, who created the Dark Matter Alpha D&D 5e reskin. It's basically D&D in space and everything sci-fi. If you want something sci-fi, space-related for your D&D needs, definitely head over there. Also in this game, every 10 retweets and every 4 followers, we do have a trinket list. We also have a special donation. I believe it's the £10 donation. Each of us have, I guess what you could say is an ultimate move. We haven't seen any of them yet, but I am looking forward to seeing when it finally happens. So yeah, I will pass over to Renee.
Hi everyone, I'm Renee, and I will be your storyteller for the day, which is what we call it for Weave, which I have the box for right here that I was going to show out. Actually, it's only half the box, but the other half is somewhere around here. I'm organized, I promise. We're going to get started for today, and the way Weave usually works for anyone who hasn't been here, Weave is story told inspired by 3 cards drawn tarot style from a deck. So I have drawn 3 cards for today, but I'm actually going to hold off on introducing what they are like I usually do week to week, because we have some unresolved issues from, I think, the last 2 sessions that we're going to kind of try and tie up in this one before we move on to a new set of cards and the next part of the story. So if we get to those cards, I will let you know what they are. And otherwise, everything is done with a 6-sided die, and there are a number of symbols on it that help you overcome challenges throughout the game. But we have kind of hacked the system a little bit to play it online, and we'll be essentially assigning numbers to each of the symbols so that we know what they are. Just in case anyone's curious, the makeup is not necessarily telling of dire circumstances for the players. It is, I'm really excited about Kingdom Hearts 3, y'all. I'm so excited about Kingdom Hearts 3, and I was playing Kingdom Hearts earlier on my stream, and so I did like Axel makeup because I'm just like really excited about Kingdom Hearts 3. That's it.
How many times can we say really excited about Kingdom Hearts 3?
Yes, but that's not to say that our players are not in dire straits. So we're going to go around and have everyone kind of tell you who they're playing, what suit they are, because each of them are associated with one of the symbols, which are called suits in Weave, and they'll give you a brief little update on how they're feeling at this precise moment, given the end of last episode. And if we could go around, not sure exactly where they're at on the screen, but I think Alice, we're going to start with Alice.
Yeah, hi, I'm Alice, and I am playing Umiko, who is the Gale's symbol, I believe. Pretty sure I am. Good?
Yes.
That's good.
Yes. Very proud.
So yeah, and Umiko is this young woman, I guess, who's grown up her entire life really on her own since her brother's not with her anymore. She raised reindeer, and that was her main source of food and trade and everything like that. And she's been thrown into this situation with all these other characters. She's done some weird stuff that she thought everyone else could do, and she also has a frog in her pocket, quite literally. And after last session, she is going to go and give that child a hiding. So she's going to go and drag him off the top of that thing and tell him off. So yeah, that's where she's feeling right now.
Okay, let's go around, and I'm trying to pull up the stream, but I still cannot see who's next, so we're just gonna hop on over to Sierra, played by Jay. Oh, you're muted, sorry.
There we go.
That was an excellent hair flip, though.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot my candy cane. Anyway, I'm Jay. I play Sierra. My suit is Brooks, which means I'm kind of like a charisma-based character. I was out last week. I'm not exactly sure what I was doing. I'm passed out. But yeah, we'll find out. And yeah.
Yeah, pretty much that about sums it up for Sierra. We'll go around to Skylar, played by Kelly.
Hi. So Skylar is a Flames character, which is an intelligence-based character. She's kind of the group healer, and we know that she has kind of a special connection with the Dynama, which is the magic equivalent in this universe. And last week we found her very busy with people passing out and still being passed out and getting cuts on the leg and being chased by geese and
I forgot about the geese.
Geese. Geese.
And at the moment we heard a rumbling and came outside, and there was a big mech, I believe, with somebody on top and our one of our companions running around with it too. And Skylar is just nervous that she's going to be really busy and really glad that she got a restock on most of her stuff in her healing kit.
And then last but not least, we have Julie, who's playing Fen.
Hello. I'm really glad you stocked up too, because we may need it, like us specifically. So Fen is the stone suit character of this group, who's kind of more about feats of strength and constitution and kind of weathering the storm. Right now, Fen is very confused by all of this Dynama that's happening. This is like a very new addition to their life, and there's a lot of concern and also staring at this big mech like, can I break that? Basically.
I don't know, can they?
Maybe. We'll see.
She's had a decent run in the past. Okay, so that is our cast of characters, and I got the stream to work. Sorry, it only took me all of introductions, and we didn't quite go in the right order, but we did kind of a little bit go clockwise, just starting in a weird place, so not too bad, I don't think. Okay, so we're gonna start this week with Sierra. And then we'll hop back into the rest of what's going on in the clearing. Sierra.
Hi.
A matter of hours ago, you stepped outside for a breath of fresh air. As you told me, she's been a little bit faced with a number of, let's call them unexpected and difficult situations. How has Sierra been feeling?
Sierra she's totally out of her element right now. She's so shocked that first and foremost, she's plagued with guilt because she was giving this big speech about how everything is going to be just fine and everyone should just remain calm, and then a town got torn apart by an army of mech robots. So she feels immense guilt, but she would never want anyone to know that. And she's trying to stay composed, and she's trying to be the inspiring woman that she knows she is. But she's having trouble keeping it together, especially since she doesn't have access to all the luxuries that she normally has.
That was a big part of it too. I mean, being in this, you were in a house, and it wasn't a bad or uncomfortable house generally, but it was part of the ancient world, and it was a little bit spooky, eerie, dilapidated, and definitely not the type of luxury that Sierra typically finds herself in. And while she was able to find something cushioned, which was a big step up after a day of pretty much walking around everywhere, it still isn't the most comfortable place, and it started to feel a little bit stuffy. The best place to get air is outside. How does
Absolutely.
Sierra kind of like recenter herself?
So Sierra spends a lot of time on the road, since she's going from town to town telling fortunes for people. But when she needs to kind of refocus, she goes on walks pretty often actually, and she likes to find somewhere private so she can kind of air out and just like get in touch with nature and kind of do that, you know, like maybe like do some stretches and like whatever.
So
like granny yoga kind of thing.
I think what she found pretty quickly was that any further beyond the kind of space of the yard outside the house was really risky and potentially dangerous. But she was able to find a place out in the yard and kind of do some yoga and center herself. It was a little out in front of the yard, so she was a little bit away from the house, but surrounded by tall grasses and some tall weeds. It's not like the most beautiful place to get in touch with nature. It's actually a little bit more overgrown, but Sierra's got sense. And she knows that her party, or the people that she's been lumped in with, were not far away here, and if any mechs were to come along, they're not bad people to have at your side. But this place was still a pretty good relaxing place. The grass is almost tall enough that you could pretend you're not around the houses anymore. And after a moment, Fen came out and watched you for a little bit before coming over to check on you. And when Fen touched you, you saw something. Now, that's not entirely unusual. You see things all the time when you touch people, and you had seen a glimpse of Fen's past before, correct?
I had. It was, what was Fen doing at that time? I remember very vividly what Fen was doing at that time.
Right,
and
right.
that was...
It happened. It
was
happened.
something that happened.
It did.
Yeah.
And And so this, usually, once you've touched someone, you see the same moment. It's not that you could like repeatedly sit across from the table and continue touching their hands and glimpse different moments of their lives. Typically, it's something that's fairly important to them. Sometimes it has meaning, sometimes it doesn't. That you can tell from being there sitting across from them. Sometimes it's in the past. Sometimes it's the present, and sometimes it's the future. Sometimes it's really easy to tell the difference. Maybe they look particularly younger in the image, the flash that you get, or they look significantly older, more weathered. That was certainly the case when you touched Mare earlier, one of your companions who is unconscious but recovering, and you have hope for his future. So when Fen touches you, you don't think much of it. You'd probably just see the same vision again. But this time you see something different. In a sudden flash, you see darkness. You see the world burning. And it truly, truly looks like it is. Grass has turned to ash, and there are smoking orange cinders still burning on the ground. Smoke rises up from larger fires that have completely devoured structures surrounding you. You, witnessing this, as if you're there in it. And you see Fen, who looks way too familiar. You saw so many people just like this only a day ago now. In fact, it seems still fresh and too close to home. Fen is slumped against this ancient world wall. Bits of metal, large sheets from machines, and some of their weapons are stuck out of their body. They're dead and unresponsive. And you realize that they're not the only one there. In fact, as the world burns, you're surrounded by every companion you've met since the Dynama swallowed you and brought you here. And the heat, you can feel it. It's like it's real. It's like it's surrounding you. It's like the smoke, you can feel it in your throat and in your lungs. And the fire is hot on your skin, and you know hot. That's easy for you. It always has been, but the strange thing is that you've never felt in these flashes before, and it's longer than a flash. And you pass out. You awake later. You don't know how much time has passed. It's all been a bit of a blur, and you've spent most of your non-waking time in that same scene, surrounded by bodies, surrounded by flame, and surrounded by machines. And what tears you from your sleep is the sound that you recognize from this dream, this vision, this flash, whatever it was. It's the same cry of a machine, that mechanical, high-pitched wail, a crash, and a scream.
Oh, what are my surroundings like when I wake up?
You're on a pallet. It's comfortable and cushy. It's not quite a mat, but it's about yay thick and cushioned, and just a rectangle laying out on the ground with a pillow beneath your head, and a few torches lit around the room. Lamps, really, not torches. You notice that Mare is on a bed next to you. Still unconscious, it seems, in his case. And Magda is sitting cross-legged on a pallet not far away. This room, the surroundings there, it seems like the inside of a cabin. It's not the same as the house you were in earlier, and the walls are somewhat rounded and definitely appear to be made of metal cobbled together.
Oh. Magda. Magda.
She looks up from where she's been sharpening a knife. Oh, this is Sierra, you're... She looks around for a second until she finds a canteen and a cup that was here earlier and pours you a glass of water and brings it over to you.
How long was I out for?
Oh, well, I didn't see when you went unconscious, but it's been a few hours at least.
A few hours. It's felt like days, Magda. Terrible things are happening. I don't know when, but they are happening.
You hear another
Where?
crash and a scream. That
No.
mechanical, high-pitched scream.
No. Oh, no. It's I get up as fast as I can, considering the fact that I just woke up from the sleep, and I try to as hard as I can to bolt and find where that's coming from.
Magda gets
And I
to her
push
feet
her.
with you because she heard it too.
Yeah.
And she has her knife in hand. She flipped it around so that she has a firmer grip on it than she did before. And she stands, and the two of you quickly move to the door. She has a hand slightly at your shoulder, not quite touching you, but like there ready to catch you in case you fall. She's not looking at you either. Her eyes are set dead ahead. And the door swings open. Sierra, this is your first time seeing this camp. It's sort of a clearing in a wood of trees. It's surrounded by a waist-high metal wire fence that's kind of tucked in between some of the trees, but that's off in the distance. As you get closer and closer, the trees in the surrounding area are built, or cabins are built around them. Some of them are set on the ground, but some of them are actually in the branches of the trees and propped up on metal stilts. The most interesting thing about these cabins is that they are very clearly made from the parts of old machines. You take all of that in very quickly. There are a few campfires that are still lit, some that are sputtering out, some that still burn. And in the light of that campfire, you can see across the way a large mech. Now, Sierra hasn't seen many mechs before, has she?
No, definitely not. She sticks to the paths on her travels.
You saw a couple of feline mechs when you were in Mellowary just yesterday. Earlier today, even, actually. It's been a long day. Very early this morning, you saw feline mechs for the first time, and they were the largest machines you'd seen. You'd seen a couple from a distance, usually trackers, like the ones you saw earlier out in the area that looked like it had been burned.
Mm.
And now, you're faced with a mech larger than the feline mechs from Mellowary. Not quite so large as the mech that towered over the town and crushed buildings underneath its weight.
Mm.
But it's large, and it's shaped somewhat like a bear. And some of it is glowing, including its lenses, which are on fire with this red light. And sitting atop it is a figure. Human in form. And underneath is a younger boy. It's at its feet, crouched down and looking up at this mech. You can't see any of your companions, your friends right now, as they have just moments ago rushed out onto the balcony of one of these cabins. Umiko, Skylar, Fen, you were meeting with Bastion. And Bastion heard this sound as you all ran out. Bastion looks ready for whatever is to come. And you're met with the same scene.
No! And Sierra will run as fast as she can. Her legs will carry her and try to sweep this boy away from the bear.
Okay. So, this is going to be interesting for a number of reasons. This is Renee, the storyteller, speaking. First of all, we have never done proper combat in Weave. Secondly, I've never run proper combat in Weave. So, we're going to do the best that we can and kind of go with what we feel works best. So, with this kind of initiation, Sierra runs forward. You reach the boy relatively quickly, and you recognize the feel of heat coming off of this mechanical bear. It's close to you now, just a couple of feet away. Can you roll me a Gale's challenge of 3 to get this boy out of the way? It's going to be a difficult challenge to start out, and it's not the hardest it can get. But if you have anything that you think would benefit you, you can up your die pool of 3 to whatever you deem fitting. Any talents, backgrounds, anything you feel might be useful here.
Right. So I don't know if this would apply now. I have set in harm's way. You put others first. You can protect someone else from harm while also protecting yourself. So I don't know if this is an act of protection.
I'll let you roll that. Are you trying to protect this boy?
Yeah. I'm trying to get him out of the way. I'm trying to, I mean, at the very least, cover him.
Yes.
So,
yes, you are able to do that. And I am seeing this. I did see this earlier. Thank you so much to Kai Hawkeye. I was just in the groove. Gosh. Woo. Okay. Woo. Kai Hawkeye, thank you so much for the rerolls for Umiko and Skylar. And then we also hit 10 retweets and our 8-person follower goal, which is fantastic. So we'll roll for those in a moment, probably, and get to those trinkets once we get out of the heat of our current situation.
The heat. Yes.
So
we have
yes,
a person that radiates heat. And a machine that radiates heat. So there's a lot of heat going on.
And a couple of campfires around the area. And my dog wants outside. Yes, I'm going to rule that you are allowed to use that for sure.
Okay, so that'd be 4d6.
4d6. I'll be right back.
Okay, cool. Okay, do you guys remember what number is Gale's on the d6? 3. Cool.
I wrote it down.
So,
Glad someone did.
that didn't go super well.
I mean, but you didn't get any 1s, which is the strikes, which is the damage, right? So.
Wait, what'd you get?
I got 1 success.
Cool.
No
Did
strike.
you get any strikes?
No strikes.
Good to hear. Okay, so With that, it is a fail.
Okay.
And I believe one success is 2 less than you needed. So it is an epic fail.
Oof.
That's not what you want to.
Makes me think of failblog.org. Like, do you remember that website? Epic.
Oh. Sierra, you swoop in. I'm listening for my dog. Just
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. For reference, I will have to run again briefly. You sweep in, running across from the other side of the clearing to protect this boy, and you try to get him out of the path. But as you slide next to him, suddenly a massive paw lands next to your side. And you feel the heat as this mech is directly in your face. And you're just a foot away from its lens. Now, Umiko, Skylar, and Fen have just come out and literally seen Sierra run across the clearing from the cabin that y'all were staying in, or haven't stayed in yet, that you set up in. And Sierra runs across to protect Jaden, who's at the feet of this mech. And this mech's paw crashes down right next to Sierra, the fortune teller who hid behind a cart when facing mechs in Mellowary earlier today.
I think Umiko would actually probably, out of instinct, just shout at Fen, just be like, Fen, as then just jumps on Brun and charges towards Sierra.
My first thought is, are there any other mechs that we can see right now?
There are no others that you can see currently.
Okay. Then I'm booking it.
Okay. You book it down this, it's like a metal spiral staircase around this tree that leads up to Bastion's cabin. And as you rush down this staircase, Umiko, you jump onto Brund. What do you do?
She immediately sort of effectively just kicks it into gear, and she has the aim of running to Sierra and just like earlier, grabbing her by whatever she can, including this child, and dragging her out of there.
Okay. Let's say, do you think it will be strength to drag her out of there?
Maybe, yeah, I think so. I don't know. Would it be, it depends. Would it be speed if the thing is coming down again? But if it's, mind you, there's 2 of them.
Yes, so yes, Sierra and Jaden are both there, and you are going to have to pass very close to this mech in order to make it possible. I'll let you decide what is most fitting based on gales or stones. It'll be a challenge of 2, and my dog is back at the door, so I'm going to run really quickly. But if you want to check and see if any talents you feel will apply to this situation, you could argue for more dice for your pool. Be right back.
Oh god, if I fail this, we're both getting squished. That's 4 people getting squished, not. This is fine. Right, okay.
We gotta save this boy.
Hang on.
Can't let the child die.
Right.
I do think when Skylar came out, she froze at everything and then had this moment of huh,
Yeah. Oh.
So bad.
Well, when she saw Sierra diving in to like help somebody, she's like, huh.
What is this trickery? Okay.
Renee, one of my talents is I have animal-like reflexes and a sixth sense for danger. So isn't that another die?
Yeah, let's go ahead and let's use both of those.
Is that 4 or 5? Sorry, I can never remember the standard.
Are you trying to use dexterity?
Yes, I am trying to weave and scoop them up out of there.
Okay, yeah, it's like trying to kind of dodge your way through there. Then it'll be 6 dice because your base pool is 3. Umiko is a Gale's character, giving her an additional die, and then you are applying 2 talents, therefore 2 extra dice.
Woo! 22.
You got 3 6s.
That won't happen again.
Which means you get to re-roll 3 dice because those 6s explode. They're weave symbols, which means that they are successes, and then also you get to re-roll them. I got
another one. Do I roll another one?
Yes,
this never happens.
No, just keep rolling.
Keep on going. Okay, there we go.
Okay, so I'm going to pull up our group chat really quickly so that I make sure that I don't get this wrong because I've done it 2 weeks in a row now. But we have pinned exactly what the number equivalents are to our symbols. And 3s are Gales. Each of those 6s and each of those 3s are successes. So, you have rolled an epic success by far here to weave in and pull Sierra and Jaden out of this situation.
Yeah, I think she's literally just swung onto Bryn after shouting at Fen and cantered towards Sierra, weaving between different things, and in one swift motion is just scooping them both up. If Sierra's gone to pick up this kid, Umiko has sort of leant down, holding onto the reins, and put one of her arms underneath Sierra's arms and just kept going.
Cool. So, you get to dictate with an epic success, like how you get out of that situation. So that definitely explains that away. Is there anything else you'd like to add while you're kind of rolling on the success of this epic moment?
She will head straight back towards the group, again weaving as much as she can because she doesn't know whether this mech is going to try and squash them now. So she's not running in a straight line. And she's urging Bryn to go as fast as he can and just get out of danger, basically get to what seems to be a fairly safe distance.
Okay, so you have successfully pulled Sierra and Jaden away from this situation and gotten yourselves to what you deem is a safe distance. Fen, you are also jumping into action. What do you do?
Kind of following in the wake of this giant deer. I feel like her scooping them up and veering away kind of gave a great clearing for hey, go right here. I want to try and cripple it somehow. That worked pretty well for the kind of cat ones before, and I just don't want it running around after people.
Okay. So, if you'd like to try and cripple it, it has 4, pretty stocky legs as a bear. What are you trying to do? How are you trying to accomplish this?
I feel like there is something Well, through dealing with a lot of mechs, maybe not this one specifically, but knowing how they tend to be kind of put together, how they move, I'm thinking going for what would be the equivalent of like a hamstring kind of deal. Maybe like not like
a joint almost.
Yeah, either a joint or something that like connects or moves that joint. I'm not personally certain what the weakest part of a leg is, but I know if you kick a knee, that hurts.
It does. So, if you are able to kind of swoop in here behind the leg of this creature, I'd like to go ahead and roll a strength challenge of 2. And whatever you argue to your base pool is going to be effective here.
Alrighty, well, on my way over, pressed my little like button that got the claws out on my arm, so that would be my spear equivalent. I think the battling soul background, really just knowing that there's a way to take them down and always enjoying the challenge. This one works. Wired up, kind of breaking machines apart, stronger from experiences with machines.
Perfect. So where are we at now?
+3.
Cool. And did you already include the fact that Fen is a stone suit character?
No, so that's 4.
Okay, so we're going to roll a base pool of 6, and if there is a failure, you have the potential to re-roll one of them in order to try and get further successes.
Okie dokie. Wow, not a single one.
Yeah.
But
so you can re-roll 1.
still no.
Still no. Do you have any rerolls, or does anyone else have any rerolls, and would you like to use them?
I have one reroll.
Would you like to use it here, or would you like to wait?
I kind of want to know what happens. I want to know the results of my impulsiveness.
Okay. Yeah. So you rush into place behind this mech. And as you take a swing at it, using your I'm actually going to let you describe this. What does it look like when you attempt this? You've made it there just fine. It's the
attack itself.
It's the attack itself that's struggling a bit.
I think rather than a swing and a miss, maybe it got stuck along the way.
Okay.
I don't know how bad I want to make this. And I think if it was like an epic fail, it would have been, well, actually,
you don't have any strikes either, so that would be a very interesting way to fail.
Yeah. Well, is it considered an epic fail? Because I didn't get any.
Oh yeah, no, that is actually true. You did not get any successes, so it is an epic fail. But you didn't get any strikes.
There is that. So I'm thinking, since it is an epic fail, it gets stuck. Like, maybe not like lodged all the way kind of thing, but just like there's something that it got stuck on, and I'm gonna have to make some effort to either get it out or be dislodged in some way.
Okay, yeah, perfect. So, your arm gets stuck in this metal, and like it's thicker, maybe, this armor, than the armor you usually encounter, because typically your arm doesn't really struggle to tear through mech armor. But something about hitting this joint hit it just right to where it catches. And as you try to like pull your arm free, the figure riding atop this mech turns towards you, and you see it is a human figure with a scarf pulled up over its face and red paint around its eyes. Its hair, what it has of hair, is pulled up into a ponytail, and it is wrapped in almost like bandage looking fabric all down its arms. And you realize that it looks very I'm gonna use the word emaciated. It doesn't look like the healthiest human being you've encountered yet. In fact, Skylar would probably have a few things to say to this person about taking care of themselves. And it has a spear in its hand with a sharp tip, and it turns towards you and takes aim.
Skylar would like to do something, but I don't know if it occurs now or after.
That's where I'm gonna leave that for now, because there were no strikes here. It was an epic fail, and Weave is a very narrative-based game, so I'm actually taking some cues from Powered by the Apocalypse and using like Monster of the Week is my new favorite game to run. That's not Weave. So I now have like 3 games that I run, and taking some soft moves here that set up for potential hard moves in the future. The soft move has already been done. Unless Finn can get out of this very tricky situation, the hard move could actually hurt, which means this is now a great moment to step in, Skylar.
So, Skylar is able to do moderate magical effects. And I guess, like, I'm trying to understand what moderate means, but I'm thinking, like, I think Skylar would try to do a moderate magical effect, basically imagining pulling Fen out with, like, the Dynama, like a rope of Dynama pulling her out of the way. And I wonder if is that moderate.
Okay. Okay. So you want to create essentially like a lasso of sorts.
Yeah.
From the Dynama to pull Fen free. Okay. So, how we're going to rule this is you're encountering a number of issues in how this is going to work. It's possible, because I do think that this is a moderate magical effect. However, it is going to be a Flames challenge of 4 to make this happen, because Fen's arm is still lodged in the mech, making this more difficult.
Okay, makes sense.
Okay.
But I think Skylar would do it anyway.
Okay, that works. Great, decide by character for sure.
Skylar doesn't have like a good. She's learning, but she doesn't have a good idea of her own limits, and so she's gonna try whatever she thinks of first. So I'm going to see if I can use my Moving Courage talent, which is I'm not frightened or easily intimidated, so she's going to be very calm in this situation. She's not freaked out. I think that would help her focus. She has also studied the Dynama.
Okay.
I guess maybe Steady Heart is a better choice for that. Either way, Skylar has multiple things that mean that she doesn't really get freaked out. And then would the actual fact that I can control the Dynama be a die here?
Yes, so the talent itself of creating moderate effects would be a die here.
And then I'm Amaflame's character.
Okay, so the way I... This is so tricky. I'm going to rule here that the latter 2 talents you can use. You can use the ability to create moderate magical effects, and you can say you've studied the Dynama, so you're familiar with some of these hacks, we'll call them. But because it's not you in the situation, I'm going to say that the heart does not apply here so much as like you're being fueled by adrenaline, yes, to save someone else, but you're not at risk of being frightened or having to stand down a terror on your own.
Fair.
So 6 dice for that pool.
Okay. 66.
Okay, so...
And I am going to use my reroll.
Okay, yeah, go ahead. You can use your reroll to reroll that entire set. Which will give you 2 successes. But it is still, unfortunately, an epic fail. So unless someone else would like to contribute a reroll to make this happen, we'll play it out as is. Okay. So, with an epic fail, you are able to create this lasso from the Dynama. And Kelly, can you explain to us what that looks like as Skylar does it?
I think Skylar really understands how the Dynama interacts with people and objects, so I imagine it almost looks like she's pulling on threads that are attached to Fen, and she's physically pulling this thread that's between the two of them, and you kind of see it shining in her hands, like you see like an off, like a warping like through steam or fog, like when the air is really hot, things kind of blur. Mm-hmm. But you don't really see what she's doing. Like you can't see like a firm idea of what she's doing.
Okay, so it almost looks like she's miming, pulling on this rope to get Finn out of the situation. Except there's that faint kind of shimmer to the air, where it just looks a little wonky. Yeah. You're pulling at the Dynama, and the Dynama pulls back. It's unusual because you pride yourself in having somewhat of an understanding of the Dynama. But as you hold on to this thread of magic connecting you and other parts of the world to Fen, you feel pulled closer to the mech, its rider, and your friend whose arm is still lodged in the armor. And thank you for the raid from Greg. Welcome. We're at some pretty intense moments, if we do say so ourselves, in the middle of our first combat using the Weave system. They fought some things before, but we did not actually use the full combat mechanics, so we are trying them out tonight. Skylar, you feel yourself being pulled. What does that look like?
So Skylar is calm in difficult situations, and this is officially one difficult situation. But I think she's holding on, and you can actually see she's small, but you can see like her muscles straining and her ankles digging and her heels digging to the ground. She may even be like pulling up some dirt because she's trying so hard to not let go. And not get sucked in. And there might be like these brief flashes of panic, but it's just like
Okay, yeah. So you are digging in and trying to avoid this, but you're feeling yourself pulled closer and closer to this mech. And you see steam coming out of its snout, and you can see it because it is more apparent when it crosses the wavery air where the Dynama is, and when it rises in front of these glowing red lenses of the mech's face. With that, everyone has taken a turn. Yay! Look at us, we did it! Except for Bastion, who makes his way down and past everyone, and immediately... Sorry, not past everyone. He actually stays above at his cabin. Where's that? And he took aim. All of this has happened in a matter of seconds. Umiko came by and swooped Sierra and Jaden out of the way. Fen got their arm lodged in the mech, and Skylar tried to pull them free only to get dragged further in herself. And Bastion launches a series of arrows through the air and towards the mech. And I'm going to roll for him and trying to accomplish that. We're going to do dexterity for this, for the sake of this, so Gales. And that is... 2 successes. Gales we have listed as 3. I made sure, double-checked to not get that wrong. Perfect. Okay. So, yeah. So Bastion succeeds. Woo! Thankfully. And, takes aim with this bow that he picked up on the way out of the house, and the arrow strikes through into the chest of this mech. Both it and its rider seem to be turned somewhat towards Fen, whose mechanical arm is just right kind of there in its leg, and the beast lets out a high-pitched mechanical whine as the arrow pierces its chest and a huge gust of steam bursts out of it. It's hard to see clearly now. There's a lot of steam coming out, but you can still see the shape of this figure and the 2 humanoid figures next to it. As Skylar, you are pulled forward and feel this hot steam coming out on your face. It doesn't burn, but it is warm. And Umiko, Sierra. Umiko, you have gotten these 2 to a safe place with your epic success on your last roll. What do you do now?
So, she's literally going to drop off Sierra and this child. And so what exactly is Fen's predicament right now? Like, it's just lodged in
Yes.
there.
Yes. Like, their arm usually slices through mech armor, and this time it, like, got stuck partway in, and they're having a hard time getting the claws out from.
So the person sat on top of the mech, do they look to be controlling it, or do they look to just be there?
Yeah, I'll give you that one. It looks to just be there. There doesn't seem to be like any control mechanism from the surface that you can see. It's not like it doesn't have its hands are actually around this spear, and its feet seem to just hang gripping the sides of this mech. It doesn't look like there's any control panel or wires that is pulling to make a puppet dance.
Umiko is not thinking straight. She probably runs straight back to Fen, knowing she couldn't do anything, but she's just hoping she can get in there and help get that hand out. So she will turn right round and probably head straight back in.
Okay. You absolutely can do that. Is there Is there something, some sort of action you'd like to take here in order to try and get Fen out? And if so, what are you hoping to do, and what talents would you apply?
Yeah, so I don't actually think I've got any counts for this.
That's okay.
This is okay. I think she would literally be in a bit of panic, and she would head over there with Bryn, jump off of Bryn and get him to keep moving, and literally run over to Fen and start trying to help work this arm out. She's like she's talking to herself rather than Fen, but she's just trying to work it out and see what she could do with anything else.
Okay, are you trying to grab the arm, grab Fen, grab the mech?
I'm going into the joint of this mech and trying to somehow get Fen's arm out.
Okay.
Whatever it's stuck in.
Okay. I'm going to say that this is a stones challenge of 2 in order to get Fen free.
And I have no talents for this. So...
Yes. So unfortunately, that is an epic fail as well. And when you get you get in there, like, I'm going to use the phrase elbow deep, but really, that's not possible with this armor. But you're in the midst of this and trying to take this action, and that leg bucks out and kicks you back. I'm going to go ahead and see. This is going to be a stones challenge on behalf of the mech. I'm going to go ahead and say it's using... Okay. So that is that's already a success, and we're just gonna see. We're just gonna see if that gets you any further. Okay. So no more than that. It doesn't have the greatest charisma, so that too isn't gonna do anything. But yeah, with a 4 and a 6, this leg smacks into you and throws you back. Umiko, can you please take a strike of damage as you are thrown back against a tree where the wire fence runs around this encampment. The wind is knocked out of you.
I was just about to say, you probably just hear her breath go as she sort of crashes against this.
And Fen is jerked around as this leg, kicks out at Umiko, knocks Umiko free, but Fen is still stuck there and unable to move. Sierra, Umiko has set you down. What are you doing?
So I see this person sitting on the mech.
Yes.
Does the person look like, are they dressed in like normal clothes? Like, do they just look like they could have just been anyone in town, or do they look like they are different?
Okay, so just by kind of your cursory glances around this clearing that there are a number of people here dressed in kind of strange clothes. They're not really the types of clothes that you see around most of the towns and cities that you stop in. Some of them are more brightly colored than a lot of them. Some of them are older, but some of them have like sharper shoulders, jackets. Finn is wearing this weird cloak that also kind of looks in this style that has like this blue fur lining to it, and it's just they're all kind of strange fashion choices, something that you might call antiquated. Bastion, who you can see but you are unfamiliar with, is the one who just landed this arrow on the bear mech. Has like this strange fabric just tied around his neck, and it's just like literally it comes down and then it's like a point of just like fabric falling down his chest, and that's it. They all have kind of like crowns of mech armor that are like made from small metal fragments around their heads, and the figure that you see on the mech itself has a completely different sense of fashion. Those bandages aren't something that you recognize on any of the people around the clearing, and it's not wearing that metal crown of sorts on its head.
I'm gonna turn to the boy. The little boy that I'm with.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna say, we need to get inside and hide right away.
Okay.
Where did we come from? That building over there. And I'll kind of take him by the hand and dash inside the building.
Perfect.
And do I see anything when I take his hand?
Yes. You see a boy. He looks about the same age that he is now, and he's being chased by geese. He has a knife in one hand, and you see a number of older hunters standing not far away, and they look like they are laughing their heads off as this boy just runs in fear from geese. It's a bit comedic. It's a bit of a comedic scene that you see flash here.
I'm gonna kind of go, but I chuckle, but at the same time I'm like, oh my god, we're running away from a giant bear mech that wants to kill us.
Right. So are you ducking into the cabin you came out of earlier?
Yes, I am.
Mare is still unconscious on one of the pallets in here, but it's warm and there are walls, at the very least, keeping you separated from whatever fresh hell is going on outside in the clearing.
Is there a window?
Yes, there are small windows, and this boy just like gets inside, takes a deep breath, and says, "Oh, you're awake."
Oh. Do you know who I am?
Well, I saw you earlier. You were not awake.
No, I was not. I was not awake. Apparently, I was out for a few hours. When did this beast show up? Why did this beast show up?
Moments ago. Pretty much the second you came out. It was just a few seconds before that. And he goes to the window as well to look out as you survey the scene. And you see Magda launching herself into the cloud of steam with just a dagger in her hand. Just a moment. Typing out, we're looking for stones here, I believe. Whoop, I did not type that right. That's my bad. Okay, Yeah. So that is one stone, but also a strike. So not an epic fail, but as Magda like leaps into this cloud of steam with this dagger flashing, the beast kind of rears up just after kicking Umiko away. And as it comes back down, you hear a sickening crunch as Magda is caught and hit head on by the full bulk of this beastly mech. Fen, you're being sort of pulled along with it, as well as this person atop stabs down with their spear. And we're looking for Gales for this one.
And I do have armor.
You do have armor. Ah, shoot, I did it again. Why do I keep typing in /D? What does that even mean?
The dice.
I just want the dice to... Okay, anyway.
Do the dicey thing.
Yeah. Okay, so that is not going to be a success, as this person stabs down with its spear at you, and as the beast rears up, the person comes tumbling off and lands hard on one of their arms. So you hear another crack. What do you do, Fen?
Would it be like the whole turn just to try and get myself out?
Yeah, you can try and get yourself out for sure.
Okay. I'll try for that first. Could I potentially... I mean, I never mentioned it before, but would I have, like, a utility knife on me? Or a dagger of some sort to just be, like, hack at it to try and help my way out?
How close is Skylar?
Skylar's close. Skylar's a few feet away from them at this point.
Or could I reach for his spear and use that to kind of like wedge it?
Interesting. Yeah.
Not sure
yeah.
how far or how close he is, if
Yeah.
he's even in arm's reach, but...
Because he was aiming at you and tumbled off backwards, he's fallen just a few feet away, and the spear has come free of his grip.
Alright. I'd like to try and grab that and just try and use it to pry my way out of my current predicament.
Okay. I think that's going to be a stones challenge, but the spear counts as an extra die. So you have a base pool of 3 plus your stone suit plus the spear itself. And is there anything else you'd like to try and add to that?
I feel like this is acting under pressure. There's a lot of shit going on right now. So I have a like down to the wire thing, and being with it, quick reflexes and quick wit, like just seeing this come at me, or this like spear come at me, be like, I can use that. And I feel like that would be suitable.
Yeah, because if you can't get out of the situation, I think that you are at very great risk, so I will allow that.
Okay.
So pool of 6 for a stones challenge of 2.
Okie dokie.
We are looking for 4s or 6s for Chad. 4s are stones and 6s are weaves.
Yikes.
Fortunately, that is not a success.
I want to reroll that.
Okay, you have another reroll? Wait.
I didn't use the first one.
I realized that as soon as I said it.
You're fine. Please.
Okay. Still not a success, but it is not an epic failure, nor do you have any strikes.
This is good.
So that is something.
Improvement.
Yeah. So
Good use of reroll.
then
Live.
with this creature like jerking around like it is and rearing up on its back legs and pulling you forward, it's so hard to get like your footing, and it's even harder to do like the precise work of prying your arm free. But Skylar is getting closer to you. Skylar, what do you do? Umiko has fallen against a tree. Magda has been completely hit by this creature, and Sierra's nowhere to be seen anymore. I love the face Jay makes. Looks like some mischievous. What do you do?
This guy has fallen off the mech.
Yes. The
And
mech no longer has a rider.
And earlier you described, I want to make sure I got it right in my head. You described that it looked like he was puppeteering this mech.
Did not look like it was
Did not
puppeteering.
look like he was
As far as Umiko could see, there was no like control panel or wires or anything. It was simply a figure atop the creature.
Okay.
I call it a
Okay.
creature. It's a robot.
I think Skylar would try and get Fen out. Because Fen is their brawn, their best, and Skylar is not. She is not prepared to take on this mech. So she's gonna try and help Fen out, and she does have a knife on her, and I think she thinks that, you know, we're having trouble kind of digging her out with raw strength, so maybe there's more of a precision process, like maybe she's stuck on something in particular that she can like pop
Okay. Interesting.
on a wire or something.
Yeah. How are you going to do that? And what talents would you like to use? That was how I was
So-
going to finish that sentence.
I think she would actually use the Dynama in a way that's similar to how she uses it to heal people. So it allows
Okay.
her to see, she can read the Dynama around things and people. So she would read it around the mech, and just like she can see kind of in the interior cavity of someone if they're injured, she'd like to use the same thing to be able to see deeper into the metal to see what it's caught on.
Sort of surgical.
Yeah. Taking a very like medical approach to the problem.
Okay. Yes. Yeah. Because of your medical ability and history doing that kind of thing with Dynama, I'll give you an extra die for that.
Okay.
Oh, and we're
And-
doing intelligence for sure. So
Okay, so that'll be 2. So that's 5. And would my steady heart work here? Because this is a bit more of
a dire situation. Okay, remind me what your steady heart is.
Well, so actually, I think she would use the moving courage. So,
Okay.
moving courage is whether it's bravery, audacity, or sheer stubbornness. You're not easily frightened or intimidated.
Okay. Yeah, we'll call this that. I did write this playset, I swear. So we'll call it. This is definitely audacity, stubbornness, and you are putting yourself in danger without thinking of the consequences. Hi, just quick moment. Sorry, just a sec.
Okay. I think that's my 3 base, my flames for my character, the Dynama control, and then my sheer force of will. So, and I'm looking for 5s. Oh, goodness. We are just not, the dice are not on our side today.
They had their fun once.
Oh man, and I got 2 strikes. Oof. Oh no.
Okay.
I'd like to think that I'd like to think that the story that's being told here is that we've literally known each other for like 18 hours, and so we're just not really a smooth operating squad yet.
No, you haven't gotten used to like fighting together and understanding everyone's styles. I mean, there's a lot of excuses you could give yourselves right now to kind of make this a little bit better, give you some forgiveness here. But it is still a failure, and you do take a strike. So, you encounter this same situation. As you are trying to get in there with precision, precision is great, but it requires you being up close and near a problem. And so when you are in the middle of a bad situation and it lashes out at you, you get caught in between the mech's metal leg and Fenn's metal arm. And it hurts. Is it your arm or your hand? Like what gets caught here in this? As the machine moves.
I mean, I think it has to be like her hand, maybe at like her wrist, as she's kind of gotten it in there, and then it's clamped, but the mech shifts and her wrist gets caught in between. And as basically a surgeon in the squad, that's problematic.
Yes, yeah. So your wrist twists painfully, and you take a strike. Now, we have several people with strikes now, including, I believe, Umiko, Magda, and now Skylar. If you take 3 strikes in a scene, your character goes unconscious. If you take more than that, you are at risk of death. So far, you're not near that yet. But your wrist twists painfully, Skylar, and you are unable to get Fenn free. Golly gee, that epic failure is just... It was such a great narrative choice, Julie. Really, it was. But here we are. And, Umiko.
Right, this is how I'm interpreting something I can do, so you'll have to tell me if I can
Okay.
or not. So, Umiko is going to stand up, probably hurting after hitting this tree. And raising up her hand, she's using the steam. She draws water from the air.
Yes.
She's going to send it into the mech to short circuit it.
Okay.
Try
Yes.
and get it inside every nook and cranny and try and flood it from the inside.
Okay. Yeah. This is a talent that you have. Period. I don't think that it needs a roll so much as the mech is going to make a simple constitution saving throw of sorts against it and try to like see how much damage this water does as you turn the steam to liquid and send it shooting through every crack and crevice of this machine's armor. And with one success, it This water goes through the mech. It does not break it down, but you start to see small sparks flying out of some of these crevices, lit in ways that it probably shouldn't. Like, this is a machine, but the steam is gone. And narratively, I've marked down now 2 strikes for the machine. So while this is very creative and did not quite take it down, it did still do damage. The let's see, Bastion. Bastion takes aim again from atop the balcony near the cabin. As he reloads, shoots another arrow down towards you all. This one goes a little wide. It hits no one, it hurts no one, but it just does not land with the same effectiveness that it did last time. And Magda is hurting as she pulls herself from under this beast, this machine, as it continues to move. She takes her knife and she jabs it upwards. Right at its chest again. And this is a stones challenge for her with 1 success so far, and no further, but she manages to jab the dagger in and pull herself a little bit further back. Away. She's just limping a little bit, and she seems hurt. But now with these sparks coming off of the machine, you can see a flicker of, it's not hope, but maybe like a challenge as she faces against this mech. The person on the ground, whoever they are, is reaching out for the spear that Fen still has. And Fen, they're going to try and wrestle it from you for a just like a straight strength roll to try and grab it from you. So if you could roll me 3d6, please, and I will roll 3d6, and we're gonna go with whoever gets the most stones wins. Okay, so barely. Those strikes do not count because this is not a challenge roll. But barely, this person wrestles the spear free from you. And they look at you. They look at the machine. Umiko, who is now standing on her feet, and Skylar, who is also not far away. And they take a few steps back as they level the spear at all of you. Sierra, you can watch all of this playing out from the window of a cabin quite a safe distance away on the other side of the clearing. Your party does not seem to be doing great. They're not dying yet, which you suppose is good because you did just have a long dream about them being dead, but they're okay right now. What are you doing?
Ugh. I don't want this to end like my vision. How can I prevent that? I will. Is there anyone else that's out in this clearing, or is it just the people involved in this fight right
Yeah, there were a number of people who were out in the clearing before, but most of them seem to have taken cover as well. So really you see your party and another shooting arrows, someone you don't recognize at this mech.
Okay. And so right now the guy riding the mech is trying to fight Fen for the spear, and the mech itself, what is the mech itself? It's like sparking and stuff.
It's sparking, and it seems to be flailing a little bit. Mostly it's been using its weight as its strength. Its weight and it's just density. It is a dense metal heavy armor.
Oh, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. Stay here. I'll turn to the boy. Stay here. And
Okay.
I'll dash back outside.
Be careful.
And I'm gonna go straight up to the mech, kind of from behind if I can.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna place like my hands on it and try to like channel the heat. Like I'm gonna try to focus my heat and melt some of it if I can.
Okay. Interesting. Yes. Are you trying to melt a specific part? Or are you trying to melt something internal?
So it has like the general shape of a bear.
Yes.
So I'm gonna try to like burn. No, I'm gonna go straight up on its face. I'm gonna try to burn its face off. I'm gonna try to melt its face off.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. I think that what is your talent that you are using here?
The talent I have is warm body. You give off abnormal amounts of body heat. When you concentrate, you can focus heat on objects.
Okay, so what we're going to do is call this a flames challenge, because this is involving your focus to concentrate enough heat into essentially its lens and destroy its face and therefore its senses as well. I think it could also be argued that this could be a Gale's challenge, but I'm going to go ahead and say it's probably, because of the talent you're using, we'll stick with flames. So you have a base pool of 3 plus that additional skill as a fourth die. Is there anything else you would like to try and apply here?
I'm going to I think maybe my background, science first. Dynama is full of mysteries, but with your knowledge and skill, you aim to solve them. You've been experimenting with the magic layered over the world. You've begun to realize some of its properties. You're close to answers. Would that work?
Yes, because I think also because you were actually exhibiting this earlier, 2 episodes ago, when Sierra was playing with her ability to heat objects. So yes, we will go ahead and add that in as an extra skill, and you have a pool of 5 dice. You're looking for 5s or 6s.
Cool.
Yes.
Okay.
You succeed. You have
Cool.
2 5s. And this lens inside this bear robot's face just heats and melts, and you see the sparking inside. You hear the sizzle as this metal just like becomes malleable beneath your hands. and it is no longer, you know with certainty, able to sense the people around it. It's still huge, it still has a lot of weight, but it has no basis for where to put that at this point.
Can I say something at the same time?
You absolutely may.
So I'm also gonna like shout towards the dude. I'll be like, if it's money you want, I have plenty. Yeah.
Okay. Fen, your arm is still stuck. And I'm so sorry that I have to say that for like the third time.
I don't know what else to try other than to get out.
Okay.
Is there a way that maybe we could work together?
Can we? Would that be like a help action kind of thing?
A help action
know
will
if that
let
would be,
you
like-
an additional die.
Okay. I also came across a talent that I probably should have used earlier.
Okay.
It specifically says you excel at getting out of tight or enclosed spaces.
I think that absolutely applies. Which should bring your pool up a bit, right? Like you had, I think you were using like a pool of 6 or 7?
I was using 6 before, but that was like with the spear, so I think it kind of evens out now. So.
Right. So
6.
if for instance Skylar were to help you, just to throw that out there, Skylar, are you still interested in helping?
Yeah, my wrist is trapped in between her and the thing.
Okay, yeah, sure. Desperate times, huh? So yeah,
So
then we'll get
sorry.
an extra die for that, and then an extra die for what you rolled earlier as well. So let's just to save time, let's go ahead and typically the max pool is 6, but let's go ahead and just roll all 7 at once and see how this pans out.
Okie dokie.
But the last one will not count towards a like an epic success.
There it is.
Okay. Perfect. You can re-roll those 2 6s if you'd like, just to see what comes from them. But that is 3 successes for a challenge of 2, and then that will bring you up to an additional success. So you now have an epic success. Julie,
Okay.
what does this look like?
Oh my god. After a whole lot of just like wrenching and well actually at this point I think seeing Skylar get in there and now injured, Fen kind of almost like holds Skylar away in this like last pull, I suppose, and I want to use either the movement or rest of momentum kind of deal to like maybe set Skylar down, and I want to get on top of this thing.
Okay. Yeah. I think you're able to use the momentum of kind of getting your arm out now that you know how the metal works to figure this out. Yes, I think you can get on
Like
top
in
of
the
it.
swing at like once it comes free, it's like okay, spinning around, putting Skylar there, continuing the turn and climbing.
Yeah.
I suppose.
Yeah. Okay.
Now that it's I imagine it's like once it can't sense anything anymore, it would kind of freeze.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely true. It's not lashing about as much. It's trying to regain its senses, and it's not. So it's confused in the way a robot can be confused. And Umiko, what are you doing?
Umiko, seeing this water sort of seep into all the nooks and crannies, she's gonna start pulling her hands back and trying to get this water to just pull apart this mech at joints and things like that.
Okay. Let's for the use of Dynama, because this is magic, this is going to be a flames roll. So that would give you a base of 3 plus the talent that you're using to do this, which I believe is a controlled water of some variety, but I forget what I've called it.
It's noontide.
Cool. Yes, you can use that as well, so you'll have a pool of 4. Is there anything else you'd like to try and apply?
I don't think drawing water from the air counts in this one, does it?
Yes, you've already essentially put the water inside the machine.
Then no, I think that's all I'm going to use.
Okay, this will be a challenge of 2. And you need 5s or 6s.
I got 5.
You got a 5. And a strike as well. As you pull apart at this machine, you start to feel metal pieces popping off, and one of them pops off in the wrong direction and essentially hits you across the shoulder. It just like this big plate of armor just flying at you, completely unexpected. So while you're taking apart parts of the armor, the machine itself does not fall apart, or you aren't able to rip it from inside out, but you do take some of its armor off. It just also takes some of you off.
That means I'm a leg and a shoulder down right now.
You have 2 strikes, I believe. Yeah. And as... Oh gosh, shoot. Okay, hold on, I just realized something. As the figure sees this happening, looking between all of you, who are all very close to this mech at this point, seeing the armor being taken off of it, looks down at the spear in its hands. And they run forward and plunge the spear up into the mech. And with a success on that last roll for stones, the spear lands true, and the bear mech explodes. And we're gonna take a quick break, if that's okay with all of you, because I'm very stressed. So like maybe if I could just walk away and take a quick breather, I'll be a little bit cooler. Maybe grab a quick drink of water, quick bio break. You're welcome to stick around and chat a little bit. Maybe kind of see what's going on here. I don't really know. I'll be right back. That's cool. That's cool. Cool. Woo!
This is fine.
Wow.
Did we just end up in the middle of an explosion? Is that what just happened?
Yeah, we did. I'm on top of the explosion. That's extra fun.
Yeah.
While my hands are on this bear's face, just explode.
As you do.
Oh.
Yeah, no, I'm really liking this method of getting caught up, you know, just I mean it kind of makes sense, like, because I actually don't know what's happening. So
Yeah.
so I can relate a lot to Skylar, not to Skylar, to Sierra in this situation.
Umako has had so much damage in the last couple of
no,
weeks. Oh, I think she's not limping, but she's got like a gammy leg and now a dodgy shoulder after that metal was just crashed straight into it.
I think it's interesting. I definitely realized when I was picking things for Skylar that, like, she is very much designed to be a support character. Like, she is not set up for this kind of activity.
No,
but I'm
Umiko, but like Ben was stuck.
Yeah, but I'm enjoying thinking through how she would be approaching these problems with the skills that she does have, and it's forcing, I think, a lot of creativity, and I'm enjoying that a lot.
I'm trying to think of all the different ways I can use water to manipulate the situation, because it's not necessarily aggressive. It's just there.
I'm now trying to do the same thing
With fire.
with Sierra. It's tricky. Yeah, because I definitely don't have a lot of talents or anything that are combat related, or really any. So
We have one combat person and they got stuck in the mech. And we're
Yes. Yes, that is exactly what happened. But I do
cool.
feel like we've got. I like the fire and water combo going on here.
Well, this is
And,
the thing, we can make that water really hot.
Oh, we totally can.
So
Totally
that
can.
combination could be quite vicious.
For sure, we're gonna have to work that in at some point.
Oh yeah, there's gonna be so much. Oh, I love this. I love how different the characters are and how they all work, even though they're so different.
I can imagine, like, once we got rolling, that some of these things, like you said, would play really, really well together. And I like that the way this is playing out right now is that it is really each character is kind of doing their own thing, because they don't know each other. They wouldn't know how to work together and how to play off of each other yet. And I really like that. And I'm looking forward to see if we can start to figure it out as we go, and how our talents kind of play together a little bit. Because like Skylar can just do moderate magical effects.
We're gonna get
And
some
that's the detail I've got.
Yeah.
Like combined, like the heating up of water and stuff like that. This could get really nasty, really. Actually,
This is gonna be like that game where and like you start with just like the elements, and you have to like try the different combinations, and like and like eventually you're making like people.
Yeah. Oh, this is gonna be fun. It still is fun, but
Yeah. So, Julie, we were talking about how we've got 3 support characters, 1 fighting character, and the fighting character got stuck. And we were all like, actually, no. Oh my god.
oh, I love it.
Skylar's
also-
must be really busy.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, we're each kind of have like our little moment to shine. Like Fen in combat, and Skylar like healing everyone up, and
We're being thrown against a tree.
being thrown against.
Or that whole like swooping in on the back of a magical mystical reindeer friend
Yeah,
to
that's pretty
save
awesome.
everyone.
He's not magical and mystical, he's just big.
Good enough for me. Like,
Just a giant reindeer. Or stag, actually, he's a stag. He's quite right there,
I'm looking forward to using some of my more social talents.
yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing Sierra. I think I was bummed that she was knocked out last time, because we actually had some like interactions with the local community, and I wanted to see what she could do. So I'm excited to see what she can do.
To see Sierra's, like she did with Fen, the backstory, whether you see the future or the past, because that will create a whole nother dynamic if you start knowing stuff. So
The one person who knows things about the
Yeah.
rest of us.
and the rest of us are oblivious.
Yeah, because we haven't done too much backstory yet.
It's not even been a day.
Yeah.
Don't talk about you. We have not reached level 4 friend. Is that backstory yet?
We're barely acquaintances at this point.
Barely.
How's everyone feeling?
Good.
My knees are shaky. Ooh, golly gee, what a night on Dynama, huh? So, yeah, this mech is exploding.
Ow.
Run.
Run. Yeah, that was my next question is what do you do? So that is a great answer.
I think Umiko will call for Brun. Like, send out a whistle.
Okay. Do you whistle as you run?
Yeah. I'm hoping to whistle, run, and jump.
Okay. Let's call this this is a Gale's challenge of 2 to just kind of like make this all fluidly happen. Run, get away from the explosion, hop on Bruin's back, yada yada yada. Plus you're of course you are a Gale's character, so you have that additional die plus anything else you deem.
I also have the animal instincts one with animal like reflexes.
Yes.
And an animal companion.
Yes, the animal companion will count as well because Brun is helping you, so that's 6 dice. We're looking for 3s for Gales.
I've got 2 3s though.
That is a success. So regardless of the strikes, you're good. You succeed. With those Gales, you are able to fluidly hop onto Brun's back and get far enough away from this explosion of heat and flame. What about the rest of the party?
On top of it, I don't know how far away I can actually get in the same.
Oh yeah, no, the second you got on top of this mech, my heart just dropped.
But hey, no strikes yet.
I mean,
Hey.
I think I don't know if Skylar would know what he was going to do, so her reaction time would be really terrible.
Okay.
Like, she doesn't deal with the mech, she deals with the aftermath. So she might try and throw herself on the ground, but that's probably as good as it's gonna get.
So you're trying to like basically fling yourself away from the heat and the explosion. Are you trying like to take any cover at all? There are some trees in the area.
She'd probably try. She did know. She did notice the tree that Umiko got slammed up against, so that would be like in her immediate thought process. So kind of taking note of that, taking note of the explosion, and seeing if she can literally throw herself behind it almost.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, this will be a Gale's challenge.
Okay.
Actually, we're gonna make it a dexterity check here.
Oh, okay.
So it'll be just your base pool of 3, and you need 1 success of a 3 or a 6 in order to essentially get yourself to safety. Yep, you're good. Yeah, you're able to just get free and partially behind this tree as this explosion pools out from this robot. But you are unscathed as you feel the heat of it pass right where you just were. Sierra and Fen. Sup?
Just, grabbing this bear by the face while it explodes, I think, yeah, I guess Sierra would just try to throw herself back, to protect herself. Where's the person that speared the bear right now?
The person who speared the bear is directly next to it. In fact, not far from you, just like within arm's reach of you, as it kind of like had to stick the spear up under the mech in order to cause this explosion. And yeah, it's still there, but it doesn't look like it has any intention of moving.
Okay. It's gonna go down in flames. Yeah, that's fine by me. I'm not going down with them. I'm gonna jump back.
Okay. You can also roll me a dex check unless there's something else you'd like to do here.
Nope. This time I'm just gonna
Just gonna jump.
Just gonna jump.
Okay, that's a 3d6.
Let's do this. Oh, okay.
Good. You're good. Yeah.
I'm good.
You saw this coming a little bit, I think, because you saw the creature, the human, launch themselves forward to stab this spear up into the machine, and with that just like little bit of spare time, you easily launch yourself away.
A breeze.
Oh, a breeze. Like a Gale's type breeze.
Oh.
Ooh, weave. Leaving Fen. What do you do? Magda is able to launch herself away as well. Not far. She's hurting, but she's clear of this explosion.
I think I might see this guy making a break for it, and really confused that they're coming towards this. I don't know if I would move.
Okay. No, yeah, that's okay. You.
This is fine.
Fine.
Yeah. Yeah. So in this moment, you feel the heat coiling up underneath you, and you see this person. They make eye contact with you as they stab the spear inside the mech. They're thin. Under the red paint, they seem a bit sickly. And very briefly, you can see a flash of their hands, which look cracked and a bit burned. And they look at you, not at the mech, as they stab this spear inside. And the burst of explosion that rips away the bandana tied over their face reveals their smile. As you feel the mech burst into pieces under you, armor flying everywhere, bits of metal scraping against your skin, it shrieks in sound as it's just torn apart, and the heat lances up through you as flames erupt from inside this robot. Julie, did you have a strike?
Mm-mm.
Okay. I'm going to have you roll a Constitution check. You need one success. I'm going to let you know that this is going to be bad either way.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Straight check doesn't let me
Add
add it,
anything.
even if I'm the suit.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
This is bad.
This is bad. You take damage from a number of things. The fire is one as it burns at you, at your skin. Then you feel these shards of metal flying loose and scratching some wounds deeper than others. As you are, with the force of this outward explosion, thrown back, you slam into a tree. And you feel yourself fade from consciousness as you take 3 strikes at once from the various aspects of this explosion. You feel heat, you feel the sting, and you feel the ache. And then you don't feel anything. Sierra, for a moment, you feel like you're back in that dream. The heat coming off of this mech and the smoke everywhere as some nearby brush catches a flame in this explosion. There's a tree on fire, and you see Finn thrown back with metal shards sticking out of their body. They look burned, they look wounded, and they don't respond as they slump against a tree. The fire, the world seeming to burn around you. Fen looks almost exactly like they did in the dream that you experienced. It's a different place, and the party seems to be alive around you, but they're sprawled out on the ground, save Umiko, in a way that they could almost be dead if you didn't know better. And this scene reflects what you saw with such accuracy, even though some of it is interpreted a little bit different. It's uncanny, the similarities. And you have never experienced something like this before.
As much as grim as this scene might be, right now, Sierra feels kind of like a rush of excitement at this feeling of her power growing. But very quickly snaps back and shouts for... Well, first I'm gonna look back to see where that guy is, or the creature, or whatever.
Yeah, the person who launched the spear inside this mech is... their body is burning. They made no effort to get away, and they look very much like Fen. Burned metal, jagged metal sticking out of them, and they are on the ground, non-responsive, as the wreckage of this bear continues to burn.
Okay. Can I just have 1 second?
Yes. You can.
Sorry, thank you. Crap. Oh no. Okay, never mind. I'm just gonna say if someone wanted to donate 10 pounds, now's a good time. But okay, so
yeah, if they had some of their signature moves up their sleeves right now, they might be a little bit better off.
Whole different game.
But okay, so right now I'm going to rush to Fen and shout and check Fen to see if she's alive, and at the same time I'm gonna shout, anybody come out, the monster's destroyed, we need help.
Is Skylar lucid since she didn't really take any damage? She didn't, like, nothing happened, right? She just...
Yeah, her wrist is hurt, but she's fine in the wake of the explosion.
And there's no, like, immediate danger anymore. Really?
There does not appear to be any immediate danger.
Okay. So, I think speaking is really challenging at a certain time of the evening.
True.
I think Skylar would run over to Sierra and Fen. And the first thing she would do is she would look at Sierra and just say, "Thank you." Because she saw Sierra trying to help. And then she would look to Fen to see what's going on and what she can do.
I think Umiko, hearing the shout from Sierra, would turn Bryn around, suddenly realizing Fen didn't run. So she'll turn straight back, and she's probably leaning slightly to one side where this piece of metal hit her, and I don't know whether it's dislocated her shoulder or done something, but she's not using it particularly well. And she rides up to them and jumps off Bryn and looks at Skylar and saying, we need to get them somewhere safe. Just go. And she tries to lift Fen onto Bryn, gesturing for Skylar to get on as well.
Yeah. So...
And Umiko can't help but, like, push Fen's hair out, like, just to check they're still alive, out of sort of one, guilt that they didn't go back for them, and just, like, it's going to be okay. She doesn't know if she's saying that to Fen or herself.
Yeah. I'll let those characters kind of decide. Fen is bad. Like it's painful to look at, kind of bad.
I don't know. Oh, sorry.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I don't know whether it actually went through, but I see someone in the chat said they did a 10-pound donation. I don't know if that did. I don't know if they actually did, if it popped up, but I see 10 pounds done. So,
Yeah.
There we go. It just popped up.
Perfect. Are you donating? We'll wait for their confirmation that they're donating a signature move to you, Sierra. But I did look up what that was. So, very good. Here, as Umiko, you lift Fen onto Brund.
Yeah.
And I think Skylar wouldn't actually get onto Brund. She would just look at Umiko and say, we can't just... I don't want to jostle them too much.
Brund is careful. He's gentle. Like as he's this stag is probably staring at you.
Just go slowly.
No, it's fine. He'll go on his own. And he starts to walk without me.
Okay.
But I think Skylar's not getting on. She's trying to stabilize Fen and like work and walk.
And Umiko will then turn to Sierra and just hold out a hand.
Just a moment.
I'm so excited, guys.
Yeah, Sierra, are you walking with them? Like, this is kind of a precarious situation currently. With Umiko and Fen is on top of Brund. Are you walking with them? Are you stepping back? What do you mean when you're not?
Everyone step away from Fen. And I'm going to, so Fen is on Brund.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to approach Fen's body, and as I do, my skin will glow maybe a little bit brighter. And I'm gonna close my eyes, and everyone feels this burst of like a heat wave, kind of, as I kind of do. I give out this pulse of heat that charges through Fen's body and brings her back, or brings them back, I'm sorry.
You have Fen. One less strike mechanically. Jay, can you tell us what Sierra's signature move is?
My signature move is Warmth Rises when someone is on the brink of death, and in those brief moments after death, you can bring them back to life from the ashes, which is fitting because there was a big explosion, so there's probably a lot of ashes happening.
Fen, you are awake, alert, hurting, but alive. By some miracle and a signature move.
Are you with me,
Like,
Fen?
hanging there, they just kind of like cough. He's like, sorry.
There we go. There we go.
Sorry.
What did you do?
I've been messing around with the Dynama a little bit recently, and
No, I can't
So-
do that.
I have a couple tricks up my sleeve.
And I think Skylar looks from like Fen to Sierra to Fen to Sierra, who are both probably, well, one's on a reindeer, but they're on a stag, but they're both taller than her. And she's just like, you have to teach me that! She's like, I can do a lot of things, but that was cool. And there's this moment where like she clearly like has gone into this state of just like joyous wonder. And like she doesn't even recognize the fact that like Fen was almost dead. She's just like, that was so cool.
Oh, child, you flatter me, but I think right now might not be the best time for
Oh, you're right. You're right. Sorry.
a class in Dynama.
I think I can teach you a couple things. Just one thing that I want to,
only known across the land as
Sorry, could
Soul
we,
Whisperer, but
could we get Fen to a safe place before? No, I'm
No,
going to start a stag.
Of course. No, of course. Eyes on the prize.
Well, at least you're not sassing each other anymore.
Bastion comes running down the stair, spiraling from his cabin, and runs up to you all. Are you all right? Are all of you okay? All of you?
And who are you?
Oh, Sierra, Bastion, Sierra. Yeah, we're alive.
He nods at you, Sierra, but doesn't give a whole ton of weight to the question as he kind of continues to move. All alive, all of you? And sees Fen kind of like slightly moving.
Shock.
Yeah. Is like, okay. And then he kind of slings his bow over his shoulder and puts a hand out to all of you as he starts to go around to the doors of the cabins in the area and check on the people in this encampment. The bear and the wreckage still burns. And the fire is beginning to spread from tree to tree.
Can Umiko draw on the air again? Just if there's any steam left in the water, and she's just going to try and sort of move it all up and just douse whatever's there.
Okay, yeah. Let's say to do something to this effect, let's make it a flames challenge of 2 to try and extinguish these flames. And the flames are 5s or 6s for the weaves. And you get your talent, of course, which you are using. So at least 6 dice. At least 4 dice.
I'm using 2 talents. One of them is the manipulating water, and the other one is drawing from the air. So does that count as 2 die?
Yes.
Okay. So that's 46. No, 5.
5.
Yeah, 5d6. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Yes. You could roll that 6 again just to see if you happen to get an epic success. If you roll another 6 and then who knows? Okay. So with a success, you are able to douse the flames with this show of water that seems to come out of nowhere. I mean, it literally comes out of thin air as you bring this water crashing down onto the flames, extinguishing them and leaving just smoke rising from the smoldering metal pieces of this mech, the burned body at its side, and the charred trees around it.
She'll probably wince slightly, forgetting her arm is quite painful, and drop one of her arms and just keep doing it with one.
Magda is also sort of hobbling and comes to you, Skylar. So I get the sense that you might be a little busy. I'm not sure if my leg is broken, but it can wait. I want you to know that it can wait. Fen is more important and more hurt. But I do feel like I'm gonna fall over. So I'm gonna go sit down now. And she kind of like limps, starts limping towards the cabin where y'all had been set up.
And I think Umiko, or I think Skylar would look at Umiko and the others and just be like, we should... Oh, thank you for dealing with the trees. we should go recoup and sit down and maybe see if Bastion can answer a couple of questions while I take a look at everybody and get us all back on both feet.
I still don't quite know who this Bastion is. Can we trust him?
Oh, you weren't there. You were conked out. Bastion is the leader of this group, and he's been nothing but nice and informative so far. I think he was worried about us because he was worried about us screwing things up here, but he seems like a good man.
This doesn't seem like the normal town.
No, apparently they don't get a lot of travelers here. That's what they said. They're more of a trading, live off the land kind of people. Apparently we're new, and I imagine that was not a normal occurrence, because I think he would have mentioned it to us earlier.
Oh,
a smoldering pile.
I just remembered there's a boy in the cabin. The one who was threatened by the bear.
Yeah.
We should go check in on him too.
Yeah. He came in here. We were talking to him earlier. He's been cool. He's been helpful. It was really, Sarah, it was really great of you to dive in there like that.
Oh yeah, that
brave.
happens. Yeah, no. Once in a while. Can pull a couple tricks out of my bag of tricks, and it was nothing. But you did some cool things yourself, so. I
mean, yeah, that was, kind of my thing, right? But anyway,
yeah. It was. I like those invisible ropes. Those were cool. So.
Thanks.
You may need to teach that to me at some point.
We can swap stories maybe later, but
maybe if I'm in the mood.
Yeah. He nods and starts walking back towards the cabin.
But yes, let's regroup and figure out exactly what's going on. So,
is Bastion still nearby?
Bastion has started working his way around the encampment to knock at the doors of various cabins and check in on the people here. But he's not far away, and he's still easy to find.
Can Skylar just wave at him and just be like, "When you're done, can we have a moment?" Later.
He kind of nods, but he points to his cabin and your cabin kind of at the same time.
And Skylar points to ours.
He nods and then puts his hand up and continues around. He's really just kind of checking in. The door will open, and he's just, "Are you all right? How are you feeling?" Questions, making sure that people are okay. And once he kind of gets affirmation, he moves on to the next, working his way around. What do the four of you do?
I think Umiko is just not getting involved heavily, but there if she can help. This is alien to her in every way, whether it's healing, whether it's fighting. It's actually, she feels very out of place all of a sudden, and probably just sits there holding her arm, but not wanting it to look like she's holding her arm because it hurts.
And I think Skylar goes into almost military style medical battle triage, bossing people around, you there, you sit there, you put a thing on that thing.
Okay, yeah.
And I'm not that kind of doctor, Jim, but
Right. But Magda for sure listens when you tell her what to do. She's like, "Yep, no, okay, yep, mm-hmm."
But I actually think the first person she takes care of actually is her wrist, because that's going to affect her ability to do anything else.
Completely fair. What are you trying to do for your wrist?
I think probably at the moment just like brace it so that it's not getting any worse, so that she can use her hand.
Yeah. Yeah. So you have enough materials, presumably, to come up with a simple brace. It's not ideal, but it will last you through whatever medical needs you have immediately.
I think Fen tries to get off of Brunt when we arrive there and just kind of like stumbles inside and lays down.
Fen, it hurts to lay down.
Yeah.
Like a lot.
Everything does.
Everything hurts.
And I believe Fen wins the triage, seeing as she was just bloated up.
Sierra is gonna try to find the boy.
Yeah.
You know, what was his name again?
His name was I don't know if Sierra asked his name actually, but
I thought Skylar might have mentioned it. Maybe.
Skylar would have mentioned it if I remembered what it was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's
That's
fine.
what I thought, but names are not my skill set.
You're like, Jen, get me water.
Yeah. So yeah, Jaden kind of pressed himself up against a wall when people started coming in looking very hurt. But yeah, he's still there and responded to, if any, demands from Skylar. Pretty immediately, she's commanding right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think Skylar's first instinct would be to get Jaden involved in helping people get comfortable. Probably like help this person, like help Fen get down, help Umiko look better. Thinking that keeping busy is probably the best way to deal with these kinds of things because that's what she does.
While he's running around and working, I'm gonna ask him, boy, or Jaden, what? You must explain. When did this bear appear? I saw you out there with the bear, and then all of this happened so fast. But you were there first. Do you remember how this happened?
It was it all happened pretty fast. I was gonna go. Well, I don't know if
Speak, boy.
I needed to whiz.
Right. Well,
I still need to. Yeah. And so you told me to speak, and he's like looking so embarrassed right now. But yeah, no, he's like, I was, just gonna go a ways out into the woods, and then I couldn't. I was suddenly faced with this
An
mech.
army.
What?
Sorry. No, it was nothing. It was nothing.
Okay. I did really remember that I need to pee really, really badly. Can I go do that?
Yes, you've been very useful and insightful. Thank you so much for all your help. We really got to the bottom of this one. That's for sure.
He goes over to Skylar next. Can I take a break, please, really quickly?
Yeah, of course. You do what you gotta do.
Okay, be back soon. And then he like ducks out of the door, and yeah.
At that point, Sierra will probably help Skylar with whatever she needs.
After a few
With
moments, someone else comes in. Skylar, you recognize this as the person who got you the herbs earlier? And she asks you what she can do so that she is set to helping as well.
And Skylar's just like, well, I'm gonna need more of everything you brought me earlier. And maybe some of this too, and she names something to help with burns. And she's like, and of course, and she kind of slows down and pauses, and she's like, and obviously, if, I'm not just here to help the people I came with. If there's anybody else in camp that needs me, just bring them over here, and we'll take care of the bunch of them. I hope it was just us, but in the crazy, it was hard to see.
She nods. I believe the only ones injured in the battle were all of you. Everyone else seemed to make it to safety, but your efforts haven't gone unnoticed. We're all very grateful, and if there's anything further we can do to help, we will do it. I'll be back soon with more materials. I'll bring the whole pack.
Oh, that would be great. Thank you. And has anything like this happened here before?
No. We've had bandits pass through, and we've had occasional mech attacks, but nothing typically so fierce. Generally just mechs on patrol, or, well, someone trying to raid for supplies or food. It's
Okay. I was hoping that wasn't a regular occurrence.
No. Fortunately, it seems like a lot of irregular things are happening lately, what with all of you coming through and then this. Oh, sorry, not to imply that you had anything to do with it, just string of bad luck, you might say.
Yeah. Bad luck.
And she nods and she ducks out of the cabin to run and go get you more supplies. After a few moments, as you are tending to things, what do you do first? With your wrists somewhat taken care of and waiting for more herbs, but you still have some on hand.
Yeah, well, so she said, or like I said, we'd be triaging, and so clearly Fen is the worst off. So she would be going to see about the burns, but also if there's anything that has pierced Fen. I mean, when a big metal thing explodes, it's like shrapnel, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So making sure that she's cleaning out any wounds, making sure there's no major, like, damage. Whatever Sierra did clearly fixed something. And so while she's doing that, she'd probably also be looking for, like, residuals of that.
Okay. Yeah.
Like, what did she do?
The first thing you notice is definitely shrapnel is an issue. There are small pieces of metal, like scraps really, but then there are larger pieces as well that need to be removed. One of them is really as large as and somewhat shaped like a dagger. And these pieces need to be taken out with care.
Yeah, so she'd probably start by slowly trying to take out the pieces, and she'd probably also wave to Sierra and request her help with this, and be like, just, you remember how you helped me heat up my instruments and sterilize things?
I sure do.
I may be asking you to do more of that, and maybe even some more unpleasant things.
We'll do what we must. I'll put my hands out to take the whatever you need me to.
Yeah, and so Skylar's gonna start trying to remove the pieces, see if there's any internal damage, stitch Fen up, hopefully with Sierra's help there. And if necessary, she would even go so far as to ask Sierra to help, like, cauterize a wound.
Yeah, so that is a little bit tricky, I believe, since Fen also is afflicted with burns in addition to these cuts. As you are able to kind of remove the shrapnel, hand it to Sierra and set it aside, the largest piece was really this dagger-like shard, but the rest of them, there are scrapes. It looks like larger pieces of metal did pass by Fen, but the largest one is this. It's about, yay. I don't even know how this translates on screen. It's about a foot long.
To me, it looks like this.
Yeah, foot. It's like a foot of foot of metal, just like lodged in Finn. You're able to pull that out, and then you're able to start addressing the wounds more quickly. Start dressing the wounds, stitching things up. One of the things
when it comes to this giant, like, that's a big piece of metal.
Mm-hmm.
Would Skylar think that should have killed Fen?
Yeah, I think it's just about everything should have killed Fen. She was one signature move away from dying this session. If I were to put it like a storyteller.
And so I think while Skylar's working, she would look at Sierra and just be like, she shouldn't be alive. She shouldn't be alive. And you.
I know. I'm the soul whisperer. What do you want me to tell you? I mean,
and she immediately rolls her eyes and gets back to work. Like,
they almost had a moment. Did you see them almost have a moment? There's a knock at the door as Bastion pokes his head in.
And Skylar would probably wave him in, but like be still working, like, yeah.
Yeah, he comes over and just kind of like crouches down, like puts his elbows on his knees as he kind of like crouches down next to you and is watching you work. Pretty silently at first until he says, everyone else in the camp seems to be unharmed. That, at least, I find to be good news.
Yeah, I mean, that's something. What? You got any explanations?
What am I trying to explain?
maybe why your town has no defenses.
Or maybe
relying
why...
on strangers.
Or maybe why there was a man riding a... I've never seen a man on a mech! Let alone somebody who looked like he was basically dying.
Okay. To answer your questions in order as best as possible, we're not a town, we're a camp. We face dangers, but it's part of our lifestyle. We weren't going to build a wall when we need freedom of mobility and flexibility. We've never had to face something like this. I can guarantee you there might be some people who are considering it. Following these events, for the most part, we're able to face threats as they come. For your next question, I have never seen someone riding a mech either. That is a new one. I'm going to try and figure out if I have heard any news or if any of the nomads I mentioned before might have seen something like it before, but as far as I'm concerned, there's a lot of unheard of things happening. As for the last question, I'm going to be completely frank with you. I did not get a good look at the person atop the beast. And at this moment, the door opens again, and the same woman from earlier comes rushing in with the bag and just brings it right next to you, Skylar, kneels down and just, waits for whatever your next order is, and opens the bag, makes sure that everything is pretty easily accessible. There's just like pouches lining it and things full of herbs, bandages, a number of tools similar to the ones that you're using, and it looks like there is a piece of it's not parchment, but it is like a stiff fabric that's kind of like tucked across the top.
Does Skylar recognize this? Is it just fabric, or is it?
It looks like it's folded up.
And she would just kind of gesture towards it. What's in there?
I didn't realize that was there. It's just a painting of my sister-in-law. Nothing really. And she kind of like takes it and tucks it down the side a bit.
Well, okay. So the first thing we gotta do is we have to clean all of the burns. And she looks at Fen and she's like, you might want to bite down on something here. Like hands or like something.
I feel like this whole time, like, Fen's just been super quiet and like with any flinch just like apologizing and just like overly apologetic. It's a little like much. But yeah.
But so to heal burns you have to like peel off the burn.
Eee!
Which is super painful.
Yeah. Fen's probably gonna pass out at some point again. It may be a mercy.
So Bastion is just kind of like, leaning down and trying to watch you work. This person who brought in the herbs is now also kind of supplying aid, and Sierra is there as well for whatever nitty-gritty is ahead. And Bastion is just kind of, can you describe the person? Or at least tell me what you mean?
And she looks at like Umiko and Sierra too. She's like, I mean, you guys might have gotten it. I mean, I think I got a decent look. I think Fen got the best look, but Fen, you shouldn't be talking right now. I mean, unless it helps with the pain, but don't bite your tongue. And she's like, well, he had red. All I could see was I don't even know, their eyes. Then it was red paint or red something. I don't know, red. And then they were covered in bandages. Or what looked like bandages, I don't know, but they looked like they were falling apart, man. It did not look pretty.
His eyes, he's kind of like looking away. He's not looking at you anymore. He's not looking at Fen either. Fen is not the prettiest sight right now.
And I think at him looking away, Skylar would like elbow Sierra, like.
His eyes are just kind of like flicking a little bit as he thinks through this, and he says, did you see their skin?
I did.
He looks at you now, Fen.
It was like cracked, like it was dry earth or something.
He nods, and then he furrows his brow a little bit and says, the doctor told you not to talk.
You asked.
It helped. Thank you. Cracked skin, that looking near death, looking like falling apart, those are all ways we describe someone who spent time in the decay. And that is where we will wrap the session of Dynama this week. Thank you all for playing. Oh, thank you so much for that 10-pound donation, Rock. Wow, wow, wow. We saw our first signature move in game today, which was super thrilling. I'd completely forgotten what Jay had chosen as her signature move, and so getting to go back in and look at the character sheet as soon as she said that, I was just like, it's perfect. It's perfect. So we're going to go around and we're going to tell you all where you can find the cast online, what other things they're involved in. And we didn't actually get to the new set of cards today. I told you I drew those, but we're probably going to incorporate them next session because we had a lot to resolve in this one from the previous two. And I think it was worth seeing it out as a storyteller. So we're gonna go around to talk about our favorite moment as well, and then where we can find you all online. And we'll start with Julie.
Hi. So I don't make like dumb character decisions a lot on purpose, but I sure did this time, and it made for a really good time. So that's fun. You can find me at jgraveart just about anywhere on social media. That is kind of the art side. I also do cosplay stuff at Narendor. I'm not on any other shows, but I am usually hovering around the Academy channel, watching at least. And yeah, I think that's it. I'm excited to see where we go from here.
What was your favorite part?
Being dumb.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, okay, yeah, that works.
Or rather, just like failing. That always makes for like good drama, and so it was like I just wanted to see how it would pan out. And
yeah, it was great for the narrative, not so great for your character, but yeah.
But hey, I mean, maybe some like loss of confidence might be good for growth. Who knows?
Finn was incredibly close to dying tonight, and I would have messaged you just to make sure before that final breath moment, but we were getting pretty close there. So, that brings us next to, though, Kelly. Where can we find you, and what was your favorite moment tonight in Dynama?
Hi. So I'm Kelly Lane on Twitter. You can find me there. You can find my schedule there. You can find me obviously here, and then also Tuesday nights, same time, this channel, playing in Curse of Strahd with the lovely Alice. And that game is a wild ride. We had a very emotional and tumultuous episode yesterday.
My twin.
It was funny, it was sad, it was a little scary, it was a good time. Highly recommend that stream. You can also find me Saturday late afternoon, early evening on Wandering DM, playing in Go West, which is a Pulp Cthulhu, so Call of Cthulhu game set in the New Mexico territory in the late 1800s, which is this Saturday. We're going to be entering we're going to have a poker game, a high stakes poker game, where hopefully some secrets will be revealed. Very much looking forward to it. Other than that, check out my schedule on my Twitter for all the random one-shots I show up in, and a few that I might be running soon. Favorite thing about today, I loved getting to see Tiara's signature move. Probably is that was awesome. I also really enjoyed when she just dove in. I really loved the image of Sierra in her finery diving in to melt the bear's face off. I just feel like the extra flair of drama just perfectly suits.
Oh, and I think it was incredibly cinematic.
Yeah, it's just a wonderful image. Like you can picture the painting of this woman in this flowing gauzy dress and melting the face off a giant metal bear. I love it. Yeah, that was probably my favorite part of the day.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing. We're gonna go around to Jay, whose signature move we got to see today. First signature move of the campaign.
Yeah, very exciting. So I'm Jay. You can find me online at jgunsgold. And I'm not on any other shows, but I'm here. So
And we're glad you are.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here. It's awesome. Yeah, no, I feel there was a lot of really cool moments today. I was really excited to do the signature move. I was really excited to melt the bear's face off. You know, those were all really cool things, but I really liked when Umiko's idea to use her water to short circuit the robot, like that's like, I didn't even think about that. And like, I just, in general, like we were talking during the break about how we're all trying to find creative ways to use our powers, which is really cool, that it's not just like a game where it's like, okay, you use this attack that does like this much damage. You know, it's kind of like, well, if you can make it work, you can make it work. And like, that was really exciting to see. And then Skylar with her rope, and just in general, all of us trying to like make the most of our abilities. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, it was nice to see everyone bringing some more abilities out and using them in creative ways. I really enjoyed that about tonight. I think I'm gonna do me next, and then we'll hop on over to Alice so that she can close us out afterwards. So hi, I am Renee Rhodes. I have been your storyteller tonight. I am going to be, I'm sending this to chat so that you can see all of the things that I do. I'm on Twitter at RayDNR. I'm a freelance writer and social media manager, which I'm having a blast doing. I write a couple of articles for Scraticus Academy, which you can find for free on the Patreon if you want to check those out. I love writing about gaming, but I write about a lot of things, and you can read more at my website, raydn.com. I also DM for an all-women, family-friendly podcast called Fate and the Fable Maidens. It can be found at Fate FM Cast across social media or at fatefmcast.com. And I'm very excited to say that we've recorded with Alice in the past, and I'm hopeful that we'll get to record with more members of the Scraticus Academy community in the future. Including we just recorded with Dread Pirate Bex, who ran her first game on the Academy this past weekend. So it's a lot of fun. I love seeing that overlap. This community is fantastic. Sorry, I'm digressing. I'm also on Nerd Immersion alternate Mondays playing D&D Rise of Tiamat as a changeling monk warlock, and I am on Encounter Roleplay playing Call of Cthulhu on Tuesdays, where my poor scientist does not know what is coming for her, but it's not good. And then I'm here on Wednesdays playing Dynama, which is a playset that I wrote for Weave, a game by Monocle Society, which I love a lot for its narrative structure. Like Julie mentioned in chat moments ago, that the creativity is very rewarding, and I love seeing that in game. I think that I'm very excited to have seen a signature move tonight. There are each of these characters has a unique move that they chose when creating their character, so we'll only see 4 signature. Well, that's not true actually, because there are NPCs, but there are other signature moves, which I have never talked about. But you can also donate signature moves to me to use for NPCs, and so we'll see some of those signature moves throughout the game. Each of them is badass in their own way and does different things. So favorite moments, golly gee, I had so many tonight. I always am a bit thrown off by combat in a new system, but I think it went well. There were some very cinematic high stakes here, and we did have a character almost die. So I'm feeling the shaky knees as a storyteller tonight for sure. I'm gonna have to decompress after, no big deal. Player almost died. So I think my favorite moment to that tune was when I realized what I was going to do, and then a few moments later, Julie's character climbed on top of the thing that I had just decided I was going to blow up. Because I'd already made the decision and I wasn't going to change it. And we saw that through. So I'm very excited about what lies ahead. I'm excited about what was revealed tonight. And I'm excited about this cast because these players are all amazing. Quick like sub I suppose to my favorite moment is I also really enjoyed Sierra throwing herself into things tonight, because in the first episode, like less than 24 hours ago, she was hiding behind a stand, and today we saw some development as she realized she's stuck in this situation. She's going to do something about it, and that was pretty cool. So I'm liking seeing the characters develop and grow even in this short period of time. So that's it for me. Thanks y'all for listening to me talk a lot. Quick behind the scenes thing as DM too. We did include 2 of the trinkets today that we rolled for throughout the game, and that was the dagger-like metal shard that was pulled from Fen in Skylar's surgery, and then also the still folded portrait that I have a name for her, but the NPC who's been carrying around the herbs had. So, yeah, those were included. It was hard to work them in the heat of the battle. So, we'll go around to Alice and close out the game today.
Hello, thank you, Renee. There were so many bits in this I love, but first of all, I'm White Rabbit Pick. That's where you can find me on Twitter. I do photography stuff, and I am also a DM for 3 campaigns in this channel, and I play in a lot of them, but I can't remember. I just know I think I'm in 9 to 10 games in a week. I'm also, you can find me over on Tales from the Grim in a Cypher System Highlander campaign that's coming up, and I'm also in Lady Blackbird over there as well as my little sweet goblin boy. Other than that, my favorite bits, anyone who knows me, I'm a real sucker for character development. So seeing Sierra go from hiding behind a cart to sprinting to this young boy's aid, it not only shocked Umiko, it also shocked me. It's like, what are you doing? And then this almost so close to Sierra and Skylar getting on. So close. But that's character development. There was some there. And I think Umiko is really sad and worried about Fen right now, because in her mind, Umiko left and ran away because she thought everyone was running. And she didn't see Fen climb basically this exploding creature. But yeah, once again, Renee, that was so awesome, and I already can't wait till next week. But we are going to go and raid our lovely Anna, Cyborg Pizza. I believe they're playing some Overwatch. I could be wrong. I think they're playing some Overwatch. But we're going to go and say hi and send all the love over there. So, last few things. Discord, you should be a part of it because it's full of so many awesome people like the ones you see here today. Also YouTube, this will be up on YouTube in the next couple of days, but if you have missed the first few episodes, you can head over to our YouTube, find the Dynama playlist and catch up. If you want to get into a game, drop Scrat a DM on Twitter, and we have viewer games. We have 5 viewer games. However, Monster of the Week is completely full until the end of the season, but we do have more D&D 5e, we have Cypher System and Ryutama, so definitely go check those out. Patreon, that's one of the ways you can support us now we're full-time, and also you can find, as Renee said, some of her articles on there for free, so go check them out because they're a very good read. And also merch. You can go and check out our merch on Redbubble. And we also have some really lovely sponsors in the form of Bird in the Storm, which is our own tool school, and Bird versus Plane, who write modules themselves. And we're working on something for season 3, which I'm really, really excited about for that. And also Mage Hand Press, who created the Dark Matter Alpha, D&D 5e in space, effectively. And you can see that played tomorrow on Completely Legitimate Business. Other than that, as I said, we are going to go and raid the lovely Anna. Did we have a war cry? I don't think we've had one yet. What do we want as a war cry? What should we think?
What was the signature move called again?
Yeah, that's what I was just about to say.
Warmth Rises.
Yes, Warmth Rises.
Yeah, I think it should be Warmth Rises. We've had a signature move, we need to shout about it. So yes, head over to Anna's channel, like spam it with the war cry, send your love over there. She's such a lovely person. And until tomorrow, where the next 3 games start up again, keep evoking emotions, guys, and we will see you later. Bye.